Good morning. Oh, okay. Don't say. Greetings. Good morning, everybody. Just wait a little bit for some people to come in. I am Elder Medicine Bear Claw. They call me Mama Bear. Thank you for joining me this morning. I will not stay too long. I do have physical therapy coming up this morning. I will be there in just 1 second. Ta-da! Greetings, everyone. Thank you for coming. Good morning, beautiful. How are you, Victoria? Had a rough night. My whole right side was hurting really bad. So let's wait for some more people to come in. And in the meantime, Victoria and I will talk. How have you been? I hope you are doing well. Today it is pretty nice this morning. My husband woke me up from the coffee. I didn't want to even get up. And he says, there's a landmine out here. I laughed. I said, just dig a hole in the backyard, put it in there. He goes, oh, they did already. It's just the stain of their sap. So he scrubbed it off. Sometimes when your clan comes around, or it's like certain animals that come in and they have to urine or whatever, it's a very, very, very strong scent. Aww. I'm sorry it's still doing that. Have you cleaned it off? I'm gonna put this up here. Oh, there we go. Better. Oh, I hope I didn't take you away, Griff, from the chat rooms. I thought I'd come in a little early and talk about Homer camping. Why do the Dogman or Sabi Sasquatch Patanga want to scare us? And to explain to those, sometimes we have food that are left out on the table. And we don't, we forget to, pick up around, or the kids. I tell my husband, I don't know why this is got garbage. What I should have done is clean up my own little area right here. So that way, my charger did not charge my phone. And I have a Samsung Android. And when you buy these long ones, it's been doing well. But then I noticed that my husband uses it because it's so long on my side and he brings it over. Then he puts it around his phone and it don't want to charge. So after I had said goodnight to everyone, I went to sleep, had my little dessert, and then went to sleep. Say, Sam, how are you, honey? Tell me, did you go look? Did you go look? I don't know why I'm even keeping this. It doesn't work. But battery part shows a little. Oh. Oh. Okay, I see. Well, I guess I could throw it away. It's thrown away. There was something I wanted to say. Now I think I forgot. Oh, now I remember. The email I had received yesterday. Excuse me. The email that I received yesterday was telling me, why do they come out? Hello, greetings, Sansei, Candy. They come out and want to see what are we doing when we're camping, or if we're they like to observe what we do, really. Many of them, Sasquatch, like to see what are we up to. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Okay. My leg is really bothering me this morning. This young couple, they live in Ohio. Ray, how are you? They live in Ohio, and they told me they have asked many channels that are in that area. That they want to know, why do they come out, and do they why do they observe us? Okay. One, are you camping by the lake? Excuse me. Or by a creek? And if you're a researcher, yes, we do camp in a higher ravine where we are researching. This is true. Sometimes, we're up kind of high up in the mountain, and you want to, hear where the action is. So she was asking me, is it true that, Bigfoot will hurt the humans? Maybe. If you are bothering them, or if you are trying to target them, of course, you're going to. She said that she felt that she might have seen a female because she was using the binoculars. And I said, okay, so this is at nighttime or in the evening? And she said, well, it's the evening. And, she said that it was quite a distance where she was sitting there eating a hamburger and the binoculars were on the table. So she went to grab them and look, and it looked like a female watching her. She said, how do you know it? Because the female, he said, was standing side, not like this halfway. She was actually, you could see half of her. And you could see the breast area. And she said it was a very large skin showing. And I said, okay, well, how did her head look? Did it look like other ones? Or she said, that's the thing. She wasn't ugly. And she wasn't beautiful, but she wasn't ugly, she said. And I said, okay. And then her husband looked and he said, yeah, she stood long enough for them both to look as they were sharing the binoculars. And she says, she told her this, please don't come and bother us. We're not here to bother you. We're just to hear you guys play, hear the sounds you guys make. And I asked her, yeah, how tall do you think this Sasquatch was? She says, I couldn't tell you, maybe 8 feet. I said, then it's a juvenile. That has to be a juvenile. Unless it's a full grown, savvy Bigfoot Sasquatch. And I said, was the around the face, did it have hair over the cheeks or, she said, well, when I looked, you actually see there right here that it's skin and that the skin white is very large and the eyes were there. And I said, what color were the eyes? She goes, well, they weren't really glowing. I said, okay. She said that went on like for an hour as they were eating. And I said, okay, so did you do it over a barbecue pit? Or she goes, no, we made a little round rock like you told us. Put rocks all around, but not very big. I said, okay. And she said that they bought logs and put it in there and brought a grill from the oven. And I said, that's good. That's very small enough. So she said, but one thing caught my eye and I wasn't ready for it. We had left a bag of chips open and that bag was gone. We were both in the tent preparing the bed. Excuse me. And I'm like, wow. So I'm trying to imagine all this in my head, so when they were in there, they ran across the table and grabbed that bag of chips. Now, mind you, they will do that. You won't hear them really um, stepping around that area. She says, there's so much activity, and I know different channels come out here. I said, they do. They do. But did you tell them it was okay for them to take the food? where you're willing to share the food with them. They still had like hamburgers. She said there was 2 patties and a glass container, but it was covered. And that they didn't take that, they just took the chips. She said I had to be doing maybe within 10 minutes. So when we know they're sitting around, should we feed them? Camping. I was saying no. It's not a good idea. You want to feed them more of a distance. If you're going to leave a goodie, gifting them some goodies, then I would assume you would do it further out, because when you come back, they're always going to watch you and they're always going to see you. Okay, did I miss a question or did I give a question? Sam, your question? That was a good question. Okay, oh. Yes, but yours is not that close to your house. It is in some way. Myself, I wouldn't do it as close. But since your clan knows who you are, you can even put it in your backyard and they're not gonna, they won't make a mess. Now, she was asking me, how long does a frozen fruit and soda and water last? Well, in the summer, not very long. But if you're way deep in there and in the ravine area, in the valley, it will last a little bit. But as soon as you put it down, then you got to leave. So that way they can enjoy that gift you brought them. And my clan hasn't made them. Oh, give them time. The little ones will. And actually, too, they will make, the older ones will tell them pick it up and to leave it in a pile. Now, there were another question was, if there's a river or a creek that goes through the city and stuff, how do they really get in the city? You ever hear the little tunnels from underneath the bridge? Small bridge, say going into town or something, and that little tunnel goes far, far distance. I mean, very distance. You can go up to 5 miles. Now, and this person lives in San Bernardino, and she was telling me, she goes, I was watching some of these, this channel, and it was showing that we have Bigfoots in San Bernardino. Yes, we do. We do have Sasquatch up in the higher mountains, and then over into the valley because there is really no homes in there. Up in the mountain, they're making roads to build a home, but those who have a lot of money and want to do that, I do hope they realize there are many different creatures out there. They're saying, well, how can you know for fact? I know for fact. I really do know for fact. because I had done research up that way. There is a road where you can take a four-wheeler, and we have done that. Then we have parked it so we can go up higher to the peak. Now, we did do that one time. I think that was in about 10 years. And I got up there and we did see something. And I said, I'm picking up there is a Bigfoot around. Mind you, there is rock and the creek is going and there's rocks on the side and then big trees. So we were like looking at these prints that we were following, and it led us right to this creek. We caught a hand. Now, mind you, usually a 2-finger is one, but this one was like 3 fingers is for one. And it lit like this, and all you see was the 4 here and the thumb way back here when it was kneeling with the hand and then the knuckle. And we were trying to examine how was it squatting down, because we were trying to look like an impression in the clay where the creek was. So Ethan and I, and some other colleagues, we were following more of the footsteps. And when we got across the river, I said, you know what, let's just cross. And I know that there's a drain over there and it has like brick, but there's an open hole, like for someone to go in. And I go, there is no houses over here. We found like shacks, old shacks, like, like it was an odd house. So when we went through that drainage, I think water used to pass through there in the early days, so they filled it up because we had moved more of the brick down and they were able to loosen. And we're looking in there with the flashlight, and man, the smell. We went in there and we saw some bones. We figured they had to be like wild pig or deer, because we were like trying to put it together, but some of the bones were missing. And it took us up like for an hour. And you could see like it would spread into a Y. And I said, well, I kind of feel that we need to go this way. And I don't want to go that way. Something's telling me that's bad that way. And we kept hearing like, oh no. Finn was like, please tell us we didn't come into a den of the it. And I go, no, because that's not like an echo of the it. He says, okay, we'll go this way, like you said. We went that way for like 30 minutes more, and we found another outlet, another drainage. And we got there, and we tried to look on the compass to see. And as we were looking down, you can hear the I was like, what the heck? So we just froze, didn't move. I looked at him and he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "What the heck was that?" I said, let's just scout around slowly and, no fast movement. As we were turning around, I can get the smell more. Now, Ben says, "Oh, I got eye vision, and it's about 12 feet tall." He said, "It's them." I said, "Okay, let's go the opposite way of them." So we put our backpack back on us. I had my stick with me still, and my stick has a compass on top, and it was telling us to go west a little more. And to tell you the truth, I was ready to face whatever it came. The challenges in life we go through, this is what we do as a research to find out what are their living habits and what are their habits of eating. Do they eat humans? No. It's the stories that we have gotten when we were younger by our elders. They tell us they don't eat humans. They don't like to bother the humans, but it seems that humans really like to bother them. And I tell everybody, when you are researching out there, you have to make sure you're safe. Carrying a gun, I understand. I don't believe in it. And to this day, I still won't. But if want to take you, it will take you. Now, we came back to another creek. Got the water, washed our face. So all 8 of us was right there. Now, John kept turning. I said, "What is wrong?" He says, "Something's following us. They would probably want us to see if we're leaving their area." I go, "I believe we are. We are already on the other side of the mountain." And he says, "Are we going to go back the same way?" I said, "No, it says that we're just going to have to climb." But we weren't alone. There was about 5 that followed us. Then we hear like coyotes. And then Evan said, "No, that's not a coyote." And I said, "Well, I was telling Libet, I told her, I says, what makes you think it sounds like coyotes or wolves?" I said, "No. Do you remember studying when we were teaching the youngs how to listen for the dogman?" "Yeah." And then she's like, "You know what? You're right." She says, "I thought I had smelt one." And I said, the smell of the scent of them is very pure, very strong. And you can tell it's a dog. And she says, "Well, I'm going to mark here on my phone, I'm going to pin it." She pinned it, all right. And then as we kept walking, they were following us. Now we came up like 10 miles away from we were by the creek, and there's a cliff. And we're like, oh no, how are we going to get down? If we go that way, we're going to be like hugging the mountain. Because the path there was really, really small. Because we got off course. We didn't know when we went through the tunnel, the drainage. We weren't sure if we were able to know where we get. So after an hour go by, it's starting to get dark. So what we did is we grab a branch and we had cloth, tied it around. And when it starts to get dark, that's when we light it. So we did. I think that was about midnight. And we lit it up. Yes, the moon was still giving us light, but we needed to see. So one's in front. Either one's in front, then me, Albie, and then John and Jermaine. There was 3 torches that we made so we can walk. Well, we went over this little hill, and then there was a big lake. I says, I have a feeling I know where we are now. Then the bush, like 50 yards from us, it was like shaking. And I'm like, okay, we have guessed. We can't make a camp right here by the lake. We did. We did make a camp by that lake. And we had two tents. When it was about 2 and we started to settle down, you can hear activity from way from a distance, and it was echoing to us. I'm not going to admit, but I was scared. I was a little because I really have never been in San Bernardino Mountains in that area. But when trying to travel there over the years, my husband and I did. So, and there is a big barn that we put up there, like a warehouse. We built it by concrete. We have swivel doors, so that way they can come in and come out. We have a machine that automatically brings down the hay. There's a water source for them. This is why I told my husband, I'm glad I did that research that area, because many different creatures go there. And I'm proud who I am, what I do. We did not hunt for food because we had food already. We had dried food. We had dried fish with us. We had carrots. We had celery. We had peanut butter. But they were saying, oh, maybe that's why the peanut butter they were following, they can smell it. The dried fish is like jerky. So, and that's what if you put it in water, it puffs up and you can eat it like soup. Let me go ahead and see if anybody has any questions in here. JP. Dodge. Okay. Tell of the hard giants in the mountains, St. Helens. Yeah, they're still there. They're still there. It is important what food you leave. Yes. I'm sure leaving food that's full of flavors can be damaging. Many creatures will not eat. Some that are the wild creatures that are living on Mother Earth, they will eat. But then when they notice their it has done something to their digestive. They will either eat pine or they will eat bark or whatever grass that is growing on the ground, or even the fern to help digest their systems. But if anyone wants to join me on here, you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. You're, you could join me if you like. Oh, you're more welcome. I tell the truth. What my journey is, I cannot for others, but others have told me and shared their journey with me, and that's wonderful. But I tell them sometimes, do you feel you've factored some of it? Because I don't believe self-script will come and try to join you unless you have some kind of commitment. Like I said, there's I can mention about maybe 55 channels that I know have a communication with their clan. And some of them are just not just one. They might have 3 or 2. I have 4 that I communicate with, and they love the pink salmon. I had did the dried up one, and I had left it with mine in the border over here of Nevada and California. And I put 1 2-liter of squirt and then a liter of water, and I put strawberries, blueberries, what is it, those blackberries, and the raspberries. I put grapes, a chunk of celery, apples. I have put watermelon in it, and it's a big plastic tumbler like this, like the size of a 8x10, and about maybe, I don't know. I put it in there, and then I put it in my freezer. And I leave it there for a couple days because if I know I'm going out there, I'm gonna put it. So I get things ready and prepare when I go out there so they'll know I'm coming. Because I'll be praying from where I'm at. I'm coming in. I have some goodies, and I will put down, and I'm gonna pray in that area. And every time I've done this for different areas, I've never failed me that they're always watching. Believe me, they're always watching. And then they'll send back. But you will always see a dog man with once juvenile because he's got to guard him. If he's out there trying to train him, he's guarding him. So that way they know what human can do and what human cannot do and how you need to move and stay in a different area from them, but watch over them. Dance, Face, ¿cómo estás? How are you? When somebody asked me, well, can you use dry ice? No. Can we eat dry ice? We have when you have a machine and you put cream on there to make ice cream and then with different color. Say you put strawberry ice cream on it, flatten it out, and then you scoop it and it comes in rolls. That's pretty much the same way what I do for the ice and the soda pop. I've always used either like the lemon soda pop. I've used the 7 Up. I use Sprite. I don't like to use root beer, grape, or orange. Don't do that. I never have, and I don't think I will. Um, I know that when we have done a research, I've seen a lot of soda pop cans, and to even see them there, and then there's blood on them, they got cut. Every time I go, I come back with a big bag of garbage. And yes, it's over when wind is blowing and it's taken. But also, when you're there, you also need to pick it up because Mother Earth feels you're doing right by picking it up. Some people say, well, it's just gonna, go with the wind and then dirt and it'll be a fine. Humans do that, not the Satangas and creatures. I just hope everyone knows that when you do a research out there, it's good that you're out there, yes, but also pick up the mess, that's around if you can. They will appreciate that. Now, oh my God, sorry, coffee is still not waking me up yet. I understand that people were saying, well, won't they destroy things if you put it there like a sign? Say you put a sign in, and then it's making an arrow and it says keep out. And then you find you're in their area and there's a big X. What does that mean to you? People are starting to say, oh, that means don't enter. It's an X. Sometimes it could be a portal. Sometimes it could just be stay out. That is also a sign for another clan to understand that. Excuse me. When people were asking us about our height, they said, did you see anything? Yes, we saw many things. We did see some orbs, and they're like, wow, what colors were they? And then, did you see anything unfamiliar? I still believe there is a city inside our mountains or down below the water. And I still say that it's the star people and maybe some of the creatures that have been coming out now. And I still say we will still see other creatures come out more. Someone was asking me, how big can a bird get? Well, a bird can get is 20 feet wide. This person says, well, I am over here in Michigan. I said, okay. And it's seen something really big fly by. And she only caught part of it. Sorry, it's my daughter. The other one now. All my girls and my boys, they get check on me a lot lately. I tell them, what's going on? You guys don't usually call me so much. Or um, he was saying, I don't understand why. Is it the government? I said, government does many things, and I cannot say that is not my position. But I will say, government plays sneakiness. When humans go hiking in the mountains that they don't know, make sure you have rope, first aid kit. You better know what plant can give you water if there's no water, if you run out of water. And also, good to carry bear spray. He says, well, I hiked out a little bit and wanted to get away from the city life. He said there's many structures, weird structures that he'd never seen before. And it's like making a fence almost. I said, did it look like humans made it? Or he said, no. But it had him puzzled. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you this. Be careful. Because to me, that sounds like it's a sangas, Sabi, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And he says, well, I'm staying by this big river. Okay. Do you know what color am I supposed to look for if they're around? Honey, I don't know. I'm not in your area because different ones will travel. So when you're traveling around and you're trying to understand, thank you. And he's doing housework and yard work. So many times, as I tell people, when you go out there, look in the map what you're trying to do. Because it's important that you understand where you're going and you're familiar. And if you're not familiar with the area, learn the map because it's important that you do. Danse Robin, how are you? CP, Danse. Papa Gomez is tired already. I received a package, but it's not the one that Ghost Girl sent. And it was a package that I had ordered some beads from. And I'm like, I hope everything's good. I haven't opened it yet. It's still right there. So, I I do enjoy telling some of my little story trips. And I know people always ask, why don't you share some of your stories? I do. And trying to explain something to them at the same time that has to go with, oh, Sonia, don't say sweetheart, I didn't see you. You're not meant to know everything in Mother Earth. You can't learn everything in one day. It is as you grow older and older. Every day it's something different with Mother Earth. Um, because we share this world with bears, deer, fox, all creatures. But yes, they will come to your camp area. You just have to be careful with your food. If your vehicle is close to you, put it in there. But again, in the forest, in the woods, there's many things that still can smell food, even through metal. When you are in the woods and you see all these beautiful big trees, smell that tree, hug it. You tell that tree, I think I need some energy. I won't take much, just a little. Oh, sorry. So, this is why I say carry a map. Because when you, even using a GPS from a car or sometime a GPS, and you're trying to, it's going to say right here, and it's not. It's more over here. It's not giving you the right direction. Even the maps too, but the maps are more closer to the GPS. Oh, who has a new grandson? Okay. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask, or they feel that they need to ask me? If you want to ask me privately, you can get a hold of me on my Messenger on Facebook or email me. And I don't know if any of my monitors can put it in, or I could do it at the end. I hope you all don't mind me holding clothes and talking. Okay. I do have a nurse coming in at 10 to look at my hip and my leg. So I am kind of waiting for that, for them to come in. So, and hopefully she won't be too long. Folding is good. It is. I don't mind folding because I know it's getting done. Oh, goodness. Maybe what I'll do is tomorrow I'll tell another experience in a story about me, but I'm doing a research too. There's things where I've got hurt too. I had pine thrown at me too. When you pick pines, there is a seed. You can put it back in the ground. When my husband went with me hiking one time up at the border, no, that was Yosemite over here, and he he was scared. He was really scared. He was shaky, and we were holding hands as we're walking. I go, why are you shaky? He says, I've never been one to come in the woods, or I don't mind hiking. You got me out of my own little cube that I hide in. And I like to hike with you. I like to drive in the mountain, listen to music. Yes, we do that a lot. He goes, but when you want to stop and hike up, I do get scared. I'm not going to lie. And I said, that's okay. So do I. If you don't, then you're not human. No one can tell me, honestly, they're not scared, because they are. Maybe so, well, oh no, I didn't. Nah, I wasn't scared. Believe me, everyone gets scared. Men and women, don't matter. Because we don't know what's really out there. Some of us have knowledge of what is, but to continue to listen. If you're in the woods during the day and you hear this boom, they're destroying a tree. Unless you hear bzzz, and then that's a chainsaw. Honestly, sapangos don't like hearing chainsaws. They don't like human cutting trees down that way. But it's like I sat and tried to explain, some of us, that's how we make homes for us to live. I realize this is your place, your land, but we share it with you. And I understand some don't like it. But those who want to live away from the city or live in the country, this is what you're going to hear, a lot of tree breaking. Not just branches. I mean, it's actually tree snaps and bends. Yep, I don't either. If you're using an axe, they will accept that. But you need to tell that tree you're sorry. That tree gives us oxygen. People say, you're crazy. The trees don't give us oxygen. We don't breathe because of a tree. Tree helps all humans. All humans. Some just don't understand what I mean. And they say, oh, it's okay. You you might be half right, half wrong. Okay. But like I said, everyone is still learning. No matter how much learning degrees or how much research you have, you can have. I'm going to be 64, so don't matter if you've had 50 years experience, you're still learning truth. You're still learning. Learning outside in the woods. If you pay attention, you'll know what plant will give you medicine. Say you had a big dash on your arm, and you don't know what plant. You see a lot of ferns, you see a lot of pine. Um, if you could see sap, now there's different kinds of sap. This sap is orange, and you can get it off the tree. Mix it with cedar bark or pine, and then you get the fern, slap it on, and what it does, it sucks all that dirt, dry up the blood, and then when it comes off, then you see it's kind of clean, and then it heals it. It starts scabbing. So if it's scabbing, then it's healing. I might be an old crazy lady that knows many remedies from the woods, and I know I can live off the grid, in the woods, wild woods. My husband says, "I'm glad I married you because I'd be scared. I won't know where to start." Really, honestly, if you were in the woods, say you got dropped there and you got woken up there, what is your first reaction? Everyone on here, answer me. Tell me, what would be your first reaction? Let's see if you can say it. Of course, John. Always. You're more welcome, sweetheart. Okay, that's good, Sam. Don't panic. Correct. When I was younger, any Wi-Fi in the woods? Oh my goodness, Dodge. No. When I was young, I would say, "I'm not scared," in front of my friends, and I would lead us into adventure. I'm not show them was scared, because if I did, that we right, we will all be scared. Just as myself, I'm scared because I'm not. Where area am I in? What state am I in? This is unfamiliar. It's a reaction that all humans have. Now, we would actually look at the trees to see, do we have this kind of tree around us? Pick up the dirt. Is it the same kind of dirt? Look at it. I touch it. Taste it. Look at the area. I'm like, okay, I'm not familiar with this place, but okay. Me and my little went visit the stump the other day, and a baby deer dropped out of the bush in front of us and stood for a minute, then dropped away. Yes, that is a beautiful sight. That's seeing what creatures come out from the bush and knowing that you got startled a little because you hear a little shaking, but then came out. It's just like them. They have to hide in bushes or in weeds because of predators. You know, we're considered one of them when we're in their territory. So, and the same thing with satangas. They get on forests, squat down, blend in with the trees so they can see through the holes of the trees. You know, but we have to. You know, sometimes I wonder the men here, if they can honestly say they were scared for knowing where they were. I've had a few that tell me they were. Yes, they do hide them so they can. What the heck? You just ruined your shirt. Oh my God, he's got bleach spots. Oh goodness. Well, there's another shirt for the yard when he does yard work. You know, I understand that it's difficult at times when someone is trying to enjoy their area and understand that area. But then you have a little bit of silliness. Oh, and you're running around breaking a branch and oh, and trying to be silly and then try to scare people. That's the worst. In the woods, that is the worst. But again, we look for evidence. We destroy evidence because when we are out there and they have everything raked out, smooth, and we're stepping, and they know humans been here. This is why I go barefooted in the woods. My husband doesn't like it. I take my boots off, take my socks off, and I go barefoot. That way I can feel with Mother Earth and give them the respect that I am barefoot, just like them. They do have a tougher skin than we do. Theirs are more like rubber. But we will understand. There's times that we go in the field and we're not understanding who or what, but we're learning. So learning is a good what makes experience. Yep, it looks like my nurse is a little early, not 10 o'clock. All right, everyone. Tomorrow I will pick up on another story to share with you guys. and have a good day. I appreciate everyone joining me today and sharing me some of your little messages. Remember, if you do go out for a hike in the woods, be careful. Enjoy yourself, yes. Enjoy the beauty of the nature. There's so much to learn out there. And if you are in need of a protection bag, let me know. I still do have Dreamcatcher earrings, beaded earrings, smudge kits, large dream catchers with turquoise, and then I have brown and turquoise feathers. You're welcome, sweetheart. Don't work too hard today. Enjoy your day over there. Everyone, thank you for joining me and listening to my little stories. And I still have some more I'd like to share. Thank you, Sam. I am healing as I go. And many blessings to you all. And I hope you understood everything I said today. Thank you, everyone. And be kind to yourself. Remember that. Love yourself, okay? It's important. All right. You know how to get a hold of me if you need me. I'm always here. Hi. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.